Hello and welcome, finally, to the first installment of this year's Flo Video Fantasy Analysis. And we're here in lovely Minneapolis, Minnesota. We're going to do a couple of mushroom stamps right off the bat and then do a little quick analysis. So let's just get right down to it.
Before we get to some recaps and an interview with Tony, first, because we have her in-house, Noob couldn't make it to talk about his week 1 mushroom stamp, but luckily Kristen, Noob's girlfriend and New Jersey native, was in the neighborhood, so we had her stop by. We're going to ask her a little bit about Noob's victory week 1. Kristen, hi. Come on over.
Come on.
Join the conversation.
How are you doing?
Fine.
Thanks for joining us here
Doing
today.
fine.
I have to ask, first off, it looks like you had a bit of a haircut. Wondering what was the impetus for the haircut?
Yeah, I did. Jake said he didn't like it, so I got it.
That's strange. Yeah. What's up with the Seattle outfit there? I know you're more of an East Coast person.
Seattle's good, so I like them.
All right, that's enough. That's all I needed to hear. What did you think of Jake's week 1 performance? He put up a huge number. I have to imagine he talked about it with you a little bit.
Oh, yeah, this whole fantasy football thing. Basically, like in everything, I helped out Jake with drafting those players, and so it's good that you're interviewing me here today.
I have to ask, Jake doesn't really know what a standard deviation is, does he? He keeps bringing it up as though he made up this great statistic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and?
That's all I got for that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, looking ahead...
Good question, Spencer.
Looking ahead...
I see why he's friends with you.
It's hurtful in a way that it didn't need to be. Looking ahead in Noob's schedule,
That's
how do you think...
That's Kristen.
How do you think his prospects look this season? Can he make the playoffs this year?
I really don't care. Anything so he doesn't talk about it when I'm around. That's all.
Well, hopefully he'll keep losing so you don't have to be bothered by it that much this year. Thanks for joining us. Any last
I noticed you have a grill.
Shots?
You grill a lot of meat on that, guys?
Yeah.
Well, just so you know, those animals were murdered.
That's a good note to leave on. Thanks, Kristen.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Always a pleasure.
Joining us.
Always a pleasure to see you.
Well, we're going to move on now to a quick interview with the commissioner, Tony, after a 90-point whooping almost of Berg last week, gaining himself the mushroom stamp for week number 2. Thanks for joining us, Tony.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels great.
How'd you feel when those numbers kept adding up for you next week and Berg's never really kept moving upward?
You know, I made it through the whole year last year without a mushroom stamp, and I think Jake might have as well. And then we started the year off with 2 mushroom stamps. Kind of cool. So, I don't know, it's good to spread it around, and yeah, I felt good.
How do you feel about how things are going so far today? It's halftime of the noon games.
Yeah, Joel makes me nervous. He's 2-0, but I don't know. I got a couple touchdowns late, second quarter, so it's looking okay. But Joel has a lot of people left, so it's anyone's game.
Looking ahead to the bye weeks coming up starting next week, do you have any big concerns over 4, 5, 6 in the schedule here?
Jordy has a bye next week, which kind of sucks because I don't think most teams have a bye next week. But other than that, I think I've planned it pretty well. Where where there's pretty much one guy every week is kind of how it's going to be for me. So I'm not too concerned. And Josh Gordon looks really good right now.
Any parting shots for you here that you want to give out to the rest of the league as we head into the rest of week 3?
I mean, Jake Polston, for fuck's sake. 2 weeks straight trying to do this damn video, and all we get is his girlfriend to come and show up, and that's a bubble in your face. So,
I mean, it was very nice for her to be in the neighborhood and decide to stop by and join us here.
Screw that guy. That's basically it.
Heading now into some thoughts about the first 2 weeks of play. Tony, what do you have? What's your biggest surprise so far? Maybe your biggest disappointment as well?
Well, Brian looks awesome. His team I don't know how he's doing this week, but the first 2 weeks, just awesome. He's, I think, the second leading scorer, but it's close, a couple points, and just whooping people. He's got a really solid squad, so I'd probably take him as my favorite right now to make the playoffs and be the championship rush guy. What about you?
Brian is indeed the leading scorer today so far with almost 62 points through 1/2 of games. So, yeah, you got to like his prospects thus far. His team out in Seattle looking great, as is his fantasy team here. Gotta like what Joel's been doing so far as well. Another 2-0 start for him. He never loses anymore.
He just seems to have a knack to, I mean, his running backs are like not great right now, but like he just finds a way to plug people in.
And he went ahead and picked up Le'Veon Bell this morning, so he's got a starter somewhere probably next week.
It's definitely a good trait to have, is that ability to just plug people in during the season. So.
Biggest disappointment thus far, I'd have to say I had Jake Hansen, number 1, in the preseason poll. So luckily for me, because I'd probably be disappointment number 2, Jake's been doing terrible, and now that I've said that and we're playing this week, he'll probably go on a rampage here.
It's really weird. When I looked at his team right after the draft, I was like, this dude is good. And then now when I look at his team, I looked at it the other day, I was just like, I'm not really that impressed. It's funny how just a couple weeks can make, and they're the same players.
It is.
The way your opinion can change in a couple weeks, it's crazy. It's so unpredictable.
Such is life in a fantasy football league. That's all we got for you in the middle of week 3 here. Any last words here, Tony?
I think that's pretty much it for me. We did see our first mistake by Bees today playing Reggie Bush, so hopefully we don't see a whole lot of that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, let's just keep getting after those mushroom stamps.
Well, we have 2 more winless teams after this week. 2 matchups between 0-2 teams, and we'll have a little bit of stratification at the top as well. We'll be back next week with another installment of Flo Video.